with their cores as well.
It definitely feels like the complexity opening is just a lot stronger. I mean, maybe it's the Lion Chen impact that we saw from Shanghai, but I feel a sense of overall synergy and strategy from the first three. Now there's the Death Prophet.
Yeah, I think it was one of the few heroes that won the lane and still did okay with the Wisp, just because you can save pretty hard. I never like to see DP run without some sort of saving mechanism. In that game, you saw the Earth Spirit immediately go for the Aghanim Scepter in that game, so you had some way for her to guaranteed get her ulti duration off for some time.
But you kind of need some sort of big AoE disabler, right? Don't you now for VP when you have Darkseer, you have a Wisp, you have lack of disables, but you have this potential AoE combo that you could have? It seems like a waste.
But who is that? Is it the Gyro you were talking about? Because that doesn't give you like a natural team fight disabler. It kind of slows people down in an AoE. Because now you've got a Darkseer, there's no Tidehunter to go for. Enigma was banned out by themselves even.
It definitely facilitates kind of that, make sure that the team fight is won, right? For a Death Prophet, it allows you to be able to take those obstacles, similar to the way that Complexity showed in last game. Zeus now, one of the big high ground defenders, plus we have an essence of global strat now between the Nature's Prophet and Zeus. Really good synergy there, reveals all the heroes.
They've got so much nuke damage against DP as well. Lightning Bolt, Finger of Death, DP just melts to that. Like in the middle of a team fight, sure you've got the Wisp to save you, but that's sustained healing over a period of time. If you just get zapped down by Lightning Bolt, Thunderbolt's Wrath plus Finger of Death, that's Death Prophet gone, and potentially your Exorcism, which right now we've been looking at, is that one big source of damage.
Throw a Veil of Discord into the mix, and things get real nasty pretty quick.
That's a really good high ground defense hero too, and I think the biggest thing is just that Death Prophet destroys Zeus 1v1 in the lane, like without any help or anything like that. And so Complexity, what they're going to have to do is you rotate the Chen early on, and the biggest strength that we saw about the Nature's Prophet is you can turn any fight into a numbers advantage, and that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that the Zeus doesn't just get straight up sacked. I think it was like 2 or 3 games where it was DP mid against Zeus, and it was just a bloodbath.
Does Spirit Breaker offset that Nature's Prophet mobility at all?
No, I don't think any hero really does what Nature's Prophet does.
Unless you just sit in the trees behind mid-tier 1 and wait, he's coming.
So we could have ourselves a potential tri-lane versus tri-lane in mid, right? Shurion and Chen rotate mid to help the Zeus. We have Spirit Breaker and Wisp for the Death Prophet.
I think the counterplay there, though, is a strategy that we saw a lot when NIP was a team, when they ran the Spirit Breaker Darkseer, almost immediate top 2 pick combo, just because they know that that lane destroys supports. The Lion is not going to be able to sustain himself, and I think it's a really good idea behind it. Pick something that just flat out beats the Lion. So Complexity needs something that can really help out the Lion in the lane, or at least put some kind of kill pressure on.
Does that draw the Chen from their own jungle to safe lane rather than mid as well?
No, I think you still go mid. You just, because Death Prophet, Spirit Siphon is good as a one-on-one aggressive tool, but when she has to cast it and she's already at half HP, she just gets bursted down.
And you need the Lion top, right? You can't leave Nature's Prophet 1v2 against Darkseer Spirit Breaker. There's no chance of going aggro jungle with Lion +1 bot lane.
I don't think so. I don't think Lion is a hero that you can really aggro. You have to eventually give him the safe lane. So you need, if I'm Complexity and you're doing something Secret-esque, then you pick a safe lane that can also rotate to the jungle early on to give the Lion some space.
What about, say, a Lycan? Better hero that, I mean, the physical damage directly thrown into facing up against the Death Prophet. You have a jungler.
Oh, that was a hero that we talked about.
Yeah.
I think Ursa's just such a strong hero in this meta right now.
The Ursa Bear. Poor Wisp is not going to get a Ghost Scepter fast enough in this game.
Poor DP as well.
No.
Yeah, Ursa does really well against this kind of lineup. It's hard to burst him down with what you have. I guess you've got the Death Prophet silence. That's quite good against the Ursa ultimate.
And it fares well against Darkseer in lane, right? You just focus down that one creep with the Ion Shell.
It's a little bit wonky at the early levels, just because it always is for melee heroes.
I was about to say, what heroes have you at level 1 against the Darkseer?
And it's not as though VP have any hard control, right? It's going to come down to Spirit Breaker. Getting lucky bashes, you never strike to control up this Ursa. Do you look for someone that actually has hard disable from the one roll, or do you just go for damage at this point?
Not sure. Maybe...
Even Gyro's going to be a bit questionable, right? That
Yeah.
physical damage can tear through him. Yeah, you have some kiting mechanisms, and that's what Virtus.Pro is going to go for here, but...
Ursa does well against the Gyro. You can get on top of the hero and just immediately kill him repeatedly.
He doesn't care about Rocket Barrage at all.
Yeah, Ursa's kind of the anti-carry.
Fair enough. So both sides leading towards complexity here in game number 2. A clean 2-0 sweep.
And go cold Dota. I think Ursa's a great hero.
Yeah, I agree.
Ursa's a great hero.
Oh, for sure.
Long has the times of Ursa being a joke pick. Those are long gone.
Ursa? Techies? Nah.
No, not anymore. All right, so our game number 2 now between complexity and Virtus.Pro is on the way. We've got Toby1 and Milk casting the whole thing.
Thank you very much, Cap. Yeah, we're back here, Complexity and VP. Now, we've been sitting here talking about this draft the entire time, and we sat there. LP picked Riposte as the last hero, something that's going to function, and we both agreed that it almost felt like the Gyro was a forced pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think just as much as this Ursa pick was just because Ursa is really, really strong at the moment, it's also that it was the only hero that really, really worked well with a Wisp combo for Virtus.Pro, where they could put on the aggression and be a threat to the complexity lineup, especially with going that Agonist build that we've seen a lot of people do. It's really a threat against Lion as well, a hero that's also shining a lot in this current meta. So I think the Ursa pick was just as much a ban pick as it was, you know, just an all-around great hero for them to pick up, because I think there were better heroes for their lineup as a whole. And then the Gyrocopter is... I'll be surprised, like, if this goes super late, yeah, Gyrocopter will stand a chance.
FNG, this is not the start you really want to have. The tree is trying to get in front of him to try and body block him up. This guy's going to give just enough time. Huntskin, the Lion, normally one of the more greedier supports, can have an extra injection of money early on.
It's okay, Toby. Let's give one of the best supports in the game an early Aether Lens and a Blink Dagger. Let's just do that.
Yeah, yes. It's a perfect plan. Like, what could possibly go wrong? Swindles, is he actually being charged? Lion's still in a great position. They're trying to contest for the rune, so Favor's going down for the bottom one. God's coming up. Now we're still 8 seconds away from the rune spawn, and Hanskin in no man's land. He thought he could actually get the perfect stun, but he only had the Hex from before. So the runes are actually going to be both going the way of Virtus.Pro. Death Prophet for one and Gyro for the other.
Virtus.Pro playing the long con. Great by them. Something we haven't mentioned because of this early aggression is the fact that it's actually Chessie playing the Nature's Prophet, because this is not a Swindle Melons hero.
It really isn't. Like, we're talking like something more like a Beastmaster coming out for Nature's Prophet. Blitz was saying as well, like, you're not going to be certain exactly who's going to be playing the safe lane in this case, but they just decided to switch it up, put Swindles onto that safe lane, and he ends up still being in that same role of the offlaner. So it's him one-on-one up against Phobos, and with his boots first, he's getting very, very aggressive into that Darkseer, trying to zone him out. Hanskin will help out, but there's a lot of support to come.
There's actually 3 heroes on the side of Complexity who opted to go for boots first this game. Nature's Prophet, which is obvious on the off lane, and then the Ursa and the Lion wanting to put on the aggression on the Darkseer on the top lane.
FNG? Yeah, he's not going to get there in time. Chessie's playing very defensive, and thanks to this Observer Ward that's sitting in the lane, he also sees what's going on. Doesn't block up the camp, he just makes sure he knows what's happening with the VP heroes.
So you see the real big problem that Blitz was also saying in the analysis early on. Mid lane. The Death Prophet up against the Zeus is just too easy for the Death Prophet, and he has the support of a Spirit Breaker. This isn't even an off-lane Spirit Breaker, this is a 4-position Spirit Breaker, so he's a constant threat on the middle lane.
Chessie, he's gonna TP, but don't have another stun. FNG at this first level doesn't have his bash.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Spirit Breaker needs that level 2, and then Rocket Barrage at this point in time isn't enough damage, especially not when there's treants around to negate some of the damage as well.
At least solve one of the problems they had in game number 1, which is the fact that Horst, because of the pressure of the Darkseer Swindle Melons, he didn't really feel like he had enough control of this lane. So they try and attack into Chessie even before you have that level 2, before you can go for the gank. Like, okay, well, they're still going to go for the gank against Limp, but he triggers one of the fairy fires, gets a little bit more life back, tries to go underneath the tower. Hans can now TP himself in, but what can he get in return? God is here, but Lil is making sure he keeps taking up the tower so that God is able to walk himself away. And Z-Free coming in just a little bit too late.
Yeah, and now the question is, do you want boot to try and get away with it, or are you gonna just go for the bottle continuously? And he's gonna try and stay with the bottle. They don't even buy him a TP scroll, so he can't. Oh, he already TP'd back actually.
He needs the bottle. Like without the bottle, he can't stay on the lane, even with boots.
Yeah, and he'd already been home healing one, so he had a cooldown on the TP scroll. I'm sure they already had bought him up a TP scroll earlier.
Oh, Swindles. If they can get Hanskin there in time, yeah, which you should be able to, they can start with the Hex. The following stun is there, so Phobos, he will go down to Swindles. There's no clap. Lil comes in time to try and get a tether off, but it's still not enough to keep his teammate alive. Hanskin on the run out. FNG with that Ultra Venom. Hanskin having some troubles, and Swindles just wants to get over-aggressive. Maybe not that over-aggressive. Lil's going to go down. Chessie, no, where's the damage? Swindles will die. FNG will find the pickoff. Lil now has time to salve up. He can't tether himself away just yet with the rotation of Z-Free. They body block up FNG. Now the tether comes back in again from Lil. FNG, the Sprout is there. The control is there. The following's done. Do they have another controller? No, they don't really. Chessie's also taking too much damage from that tower, so he has to back out.
So Chessie was the cause of two deaths in this fight. First, he killed the Ursa by missing the Sprout on the Wisp that didn't got away because of it, and blocked in Swindle so he couldn't actually move freely. And he also made sure that they got the follow-up kill on the Spirit Breaker by body blocking the same way he did early on with the first blood. So, bad play and great play at the same time. It happens.
You take what you can get. At least now we can go back down the bottom lane, but Avorst is already looking really good. Like, as far as clearance goes, you know, saying like, Avorst doesn't care about any kind of lane presence with a homing missile. It's all about flat cannons, all about rocket barrage. And this is something which we were looking for from VP's 5th pick. Hello, Swindles. FNG. Oh, nice. 17% kicking in. And when you've also got that Iron Shell from Phobos on him, they just burn through the Ursa.
I mean, for anyone playing Spirit Break out there, you just know that this is just a great feeling. You're level 2, you got a Wisp to support you, you get Iron Shell on you from a Darkseer. This is really the dream of an early game for a Spirit Breaker. He can just run around and have a great old time. It's just much more fun to play aggressive as well, so I'm sure FNG is in his element right now.
Lexi going to try and take him out of that. They're smoke moving with Z-Freak as well as Hanskin.
But it's a level 6 Death Prophet up against a soon-to-be level 5 Zeus.
Looking to the mid.
He does have an Invis room, though.
To the bottom, sorry. Avorst should be dead right now. Hanskin starts with a Hex. They've got to keep these stuns nicely chained, however, or else Avorst is going to call down, and then Flat Cannon. Didn't he actually even have the Flat Cannon? So a good rotation, a good movement, and that's going to take away the nice little space for him. It's Lil.
Limp activates his Invis to scout out the Spirit Breaker Wisp combo.
Prophet. They're TPing in the Nature's Prophet. He's a little bit too far away here, Chessie. FNG will charge himself forward, and now Chessie, he can actually look at the Sprout control over on FNG. They got Lightning Bolt, actually instantly summons up the Treants.
He had a tango, he already...
true, he cut through.
Already got out of the Sprout, but yeah.
Okay, what do you even do, Limp? FNG, well, there's the Hex, but there's no follow-up mana for a stun from Hanskin. And again, God, how do you stop this? Death Prophet, the Troll Trap from Z-Freak, that'll do it. He's still got one last Spirit Siphon available, but he walked into the tree and surround. God's gonna drop to compLexity. That's a big loss right there. compLexity, they almost lost 3 heroes trying to kill off the Death Prophet.
A very back and forth exchange of hits in that fight. At one point it seemed like compLexity would lose, and then suddenly it seemed like Virtus.Pro, and I think it was just all about that tower damage that was actually dealt. The Death Prophet being blocked out, and again, Chessie, that initial TP seeming way off, not really comfortable on the hero, and then he keeps on doing these Treant blocks that showcases that, yeah, he understands the game. So it's really back and forth with how he's performing on it so far.
You get taken out of your comfort zone, but blocking.
I'd say, I think compLexity should have had more kills if he had played at the same consistent high level.
I can agree with that, but it's one of those things like you pick it up, you blocked at least from VP, and you make the most out of it, even if you have to experiment a little bit. But he's like, the ulti combo later on is not going to be the hardest thing. Like, Zeus throws ulti, you throw ulti, all of a sudden you do terrible damage across all of VP's lineup, and allow the rest of compLexity just to go ham. One other person I want to keep my eyes on for compLexity's side of the field is Hanskin. Hanskin, obviously you take first blood, you die instantly after. you're looking to see when he gets the Blink Dagger. When can this Lion get the quick initiation, have the nice range with the Ether Lens, and be the burst hero that he wants to be? He needs to have that Finger of Death to make sure that Lil, wherever he wants to relocate into, then again, Lil's level 3. His relocate's a long way away. You just be in position to Finger of Death and take care of that IO support.
Yeah, so while compLexity is doing great rotations so far, it is at the expense of Virtus.Pro getting a decent amount of farm on their cores. The supports, however, are fairly underleveled.
Okay. I thought for a moment it was FNG who decided to dive underneath that tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Is that TP actually coming in? Yeah, that TP is on the way from Swindles. Now, normally I would be, okay...
that would probably result in a kill. Nature's Prophet's gonna TP in, has his Sprout up. There's no way of escaping the Sprout on either heroes of Virtus.Pro in the middle lane, so...
If they get that kill, they can instantly go for Roshan. Swindles is at level 6. Sure, it's not great, but you've got Nature's Prophet on your side in the Chen. Yeah, Chen's already taking care of the Observer Wall.
There's a 10-second cooldown on the Shards of Darkness as well, so there's no way of him getting away from this. This should be, by all means, should be 100% kill if Jesse just TPs.
How far is he TP though? He's going to have to TP directly underneath God if he does it. That Death Prophet is still going to be a major problem for him.
He may not even have to TP if he do a very well-timed Wrath of Nature. Starts on his bottom wave, hits the first 6 targets down there, and then bounces off mid.
That'll work. Limp, with 2 bottle charges, he'll have enough mana to let off the Thunder God's Wrath.
Oh yeah, it's only a level 2 lightning bolt, so that might cause a bit of an issue. I don't know if you want to commit Thunder God's Wrath for that. They could combo it up and just use the Wrath preemptively to further add to the damage of Wrath of Nature, because they get all the hero targets around the map.
Yeah.
But it depends on where on the map they are, right? So...
You'd be okay doing it if you instantly then go for Roshan. Because then, like, VP, you know, like, all the heroes will be at 50%. You do lose, of course, your big team fight nukes.
There are no creep waves showing except on the bottom lane, so Wrath of Nature at this point in time wouldn't actually deal a whole lot of damage. And if he starts it at the bottom lane, which he would probably have to because there's no creep waves other places, the only hero that it would hit before hitting the Spirit Breaker would be the Wisp, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense. And they will know this as well. And they have the time to discuss it now, so it won't be
to Virtus.Pro.
It will not be a Zeus Wrath of Nature combo.
No. So instead it's just Lightning Bolt.
He's gonna TP in for it, definitely. Because the Ursa's gonna complete his TP most likely, unless they'll just be fine with...
This movement from Swindles is all about the timing. Like, he wants to come down and start Roshan, or at least maybe he takes the camps on the side.
Whatever's going to happen now might be very different to what would have happened if the pause hadn't happened. Because right now, compLexity can sit and discuss all the different pros and cons of doing this and that, right?
Yeah.
We just discussed the Nature's Prophet Zeus setup, but at the same time, do you want to complete the TP from the Ursa? Because by all means, the Zeus is already saved.
Yes.
And... Ursa could just go back to farming on the top lane, but at the same time, you can get a secure kill on the Spirit Breaker with the Sprout into Ursa catching up, basically, to the Spirit Breaker, and Hanskin can just benefit from getting levels and farm on the top lane. Yeah. So I think he's gonna complete it. I think that would be the correct play. We know this.
Yeah, the primary thing is just Hanskin. Like, I don't even care if they get the kill or not in the mid. Like, I think it's almost that time where you need to make space for the Lion to have Finger of Death, because then he can rotate more efficiently with a Chen.
And at the same time, so Chen is in a position where... Oh, well, wait. No, they can't do that yet. There's no lifesteal on the Ursa, so they can't do a transition into Roshan after TPing mid.
Are you sure? Because you got Nature's Prophet, you got Treants.
That is correct, Toby.
You got Treants and you got
Chen. And he is removing the ward vision, and they are in the area, so they could potentially sneak in a Rose kill as well. It's to be expected, though, especially when they see the Ursa TPing in the middle lane.
If they actually... Because you can get the 7th level on Ursa, so you can get your 4th level up in Fury Swipes. Yeah. Just by taking out either the Ancient Camp or the smaller camp, which is a little bit further north next to the Secret Shop.
Then you gotta add a whole new layer of consideration. Do they actually want to go for the Spirit Breaker kill then? Because if they do, that'll immediately trigger the alarm of Virtus.Pro, where they'll think, oh, Ursa is very close to the Rose Pit. They have Nature's Prophet as well.
Yeah. They don't see the TP. Like, exactly. This is the vision right now, so VP aren't aware.
I mean, they'll know he's not on the top lane, right? He's not farming the creep wave.
But you could also assume he's just gone inside the jungle as well. Like, it was the meta what 6-9 months ago, where you run that hero on the safe lane until you can jungle
some
it.
teams today do the same thing. They put their carry as soon as he can. They put the carry in the jungle, let the 5 position catch up.
It was EG that always did it. Like that's why like AUI always had so many levels on obviously the roster formerly of EG. But yeah, they've got so many options in complexity. But let's actually talk about Virtus.Pro for a while, because we've harped on the Americans. I can't even say Americans, like the two American brothers and the Swedes, for a very long time. But let's actually talk about VP's position. They've got the 2 top net worths on the field right now.
Yes,
God
at the
really
cost of
does-
having supports that at this point in time really cannot do that much
Yeah.
anymore. Like the only real target that they've been able to gank and can gank is the Zeus. Because Nature's Prophet will either just be smart enough to stay out of sight on the map, or right now, as we can see, he'll have the support of the Chen. The top lane is way too hard to gank into, and the only one with that can be a difference maker at this point for them is G. They really need some levels on both the Wisp and the Spirit Breaker to actually pose a threat around the map. They need that Nether Strike from the Spirit Breaker, and more importantly, the relocate from the Wisp.
Yeah. But even if there is a relocate from the Wisp, I'm wondering, like, that at least lets you split push and lets Evorse stay in the lane and farm. Like, that's the upside for that one. Then Evorse never has to leave the bottom lane
Exactly,
until the fight
and
begins.
they can get that aggressive kill participation that we see a lot of other teams utilize a lot, where they have their carry position help out throughout the game. Something that CDC put to great use throughout 2015, especially at TI. Why Aggressive himself, like the actual player Aggressive, made a name for himself was because of the participants of the carry.
But we then need to see the transition of the next wards. Like, that'll be the next point of conversation, because we've got one observer ward up for the Radiant side right now. It watches the mid lane because they know Zeus is the easier kill. But if you're relocating into fights, you need to know where the rest of complexity is moving. Now, Chen is in that perfect point where he wants to rotate around and kill off everything. They're losing their other observer ward on the bottom lane, which would have been the other best place to go, because that's when you can relocate in behind the tier 1 tower and you can surround the Nature's Prophet. We've already seen Jesse, great blocking, but has really been unsettled on the hero. If you can capitalize on that, if you can really hit into Chessie and actually kill him, like he's got 2 kills and no deaths so far. Chessie has not been pressured enough from Virtus.Pro because they can't. it's not for the want of trying.
Yeah, I just think complexity has like a timely advantage right now, where they have the levels they need. They have a lot of objectives that they can do. They can force the presence around the map, push down towers, use Nature's Prophet to really punish Virtus.Pro, because the only really mobile hero at this point is the Spirit Breaker, as long as the Wisp is not level 6. So, and then of course they have the option of Roshan there on the Dire side with an Ursa and a Nature's Prophet and a Chen. There's so many things that complexity can do right now, whereas Virtus.Pro has 3 heroes that need to catch up. Yeah. Their 2 cores are super farmed, they have the levels they need, everything is going well for them, but they have 2 level 3 supports, and they have a Darkseer who's level 5, and the only thing he can afford outside of his Soul Ring is boots of speed.
I'm actually wondering, like, now how Evorse, like, you've got me thinking that VP, like, okay, there's 3 heroes that need to catch up. Well, then again, sorry, they're ahead, in a way. But how does Evorse hit that perfect moment before complexity are just this unstoppable force? Because the timing is going to come in from complexity with Prophet, with Chen, and they all just going to, like, just roll over the top of you. Can Evorse get away? Because he already went phase boots as well as Ring of Aquila. Can he get away with the Helm of the Dominator and start stacking up Ancients? Because no one else on VP has done that so far. The Ancients haven't been touched by Virtus.Pro. The Darkseer is nearby, but most of the time he's spending his time in the lane or farming his own little side camp that's there.
In some sense, I actually think they'll be fine with taking these 5-on-5 fights, and as soon as Darkseer has the level he needs, because Chen will not have a mechanism as of yet. So the only thing he'll have by the time they want to start forcing these team fights is
Hand of God.
Is Hand of God, which has an immensely long cooldown, whereas Death Prophet has these different power spikes throughout the game, but they're really right now. There's not a lot of damage output from the Nature's Prophet outside of Wrath of Nature, and the Ursa, I suppose Virtus.Pro doesn't really have the tools to kite him around. Like, if they had the Lion, it would be a completely different story, right? So I think complexity relies on bursting down 1 or 2 targets in a team fight, whereas Virtus.Pro is more well-rounded, and one misstep, one person being out of position from complexity will lead to them being able to force either a 4-on-5 advantage and push down towers and so forth. And at the same time, you know, it's complexity can push down a tower around the map. They outnumber Virtus.Pro.
Yeah. And then VP are forced into this trade-off scenario, like it's Exorcism versus the army push of complexity.
Yeah, but I think Evolve needs to start fighting with the Death Prophet. I still think that they need to take advantage of the fact that Zeus is still sort of squishy. He can't really...
If you're going to do that, then you got a 5-man move it through the mid lane. Because if you bring Havorst off that bottom lane and join God, then you must get a trade-off for it. Or else Havorst is going to fall behind and Prophet will just exploit the side lanes.
Yeah, but the only
Is it worth
front
the
liner
trade?
from complexity is the Ursa, so they'll need to play it really smart and weave back and forth into the fight, playing this guerrilla tactics kind of play style where they can't allow themselves to be caught out once at all.
Yeah.
Because if they
think
do,
that's why-
they'll just die, and the only trade they can actually get is like they can burst down the target real easy, right?
Yeah.
Complexity can secure a kill, no doubt.
Yes.
That's super easy. Either through a Lion combo and just Zeus follow up if Lion is not enough,
Especially once Finger comes up for line, then it's even easier for
yeah,
him.
or a target that is sprouted. It's super easy for them to take one kill, but it might also result in them just losing the overall team fight immediately after, especially if the Ursa gets low or gets taken out right away.
Yeah. I can see that. I'm actually starting to also consider like what would happen with VP try to contest complexity going for Roshan. Because this is the other thing we have to keep in mind. The Aegis will be a big thing. You've got an Ursa on a dire side team. This is easy to slip yourself inside the pit and take out Roshan.
Yeah,
So-
and that's why it's important for Virtus.Pro to apply some kind of pressure, which is why it's not very beneficial to them to have 2 level 3 supports at this present time.
Yeah.
Because they want to take either the middle tier 1 tower or better yet the bottom tier 1
They
tower.
kind of need both.
Taking the bottom tier 1 tower will allow them to just remove all kind of pressure on their own jungle as well, so
Yeah.
they can enter the jungle as they see fit, and it'll take some time for complexity to react to any kind of bottom lane pressure.
You know, to that same dire observer ward is back again. Like the one this time around, it's not being de-warded out, but it was watching all the movements of VP early on. That's the reason why Chessie was able to dodge most of those ganks early on, because he saw where the movement of the Chen as well as the SB was coming from.
Yeah, they've
Sorry, the SB and the
they've really done a number on Virtus.Pro with this ward. It alone may have secured the early game in both of these games.
Yeah.
For Virtus.Pro.
It's something VP will have to look back at the replays and just like, because in game 1 it made so much more.
I mean, this is a single elimination tournament, so they
Yeah.
can look back at the replay. But if they lose this, it won't do them any justice.
something to learn for the next tournament, maybe.
Oh yeah, definitely. But for potential, semi-finalist opponent, that can be either OG or MVP Phoenix.
Yeah.
Definitely something to keep an eye out on.
And both of those opponents are real tough opponents. Like MVP proved it beautifully. It looks like we've actually been told we've got like 1 minute until the problem should be fixed for VP, and we can actually get our game back and underway. We've actually had ourselves a pretty smooth run, as I need to throw something over my shoulder. We started on time.
Which is very uncommon for not just Dota
For any
tournaments,
land.
just esports in general.
Yeah. But let's not properly jinx it yet. It's been some good times, and yeah, complexity, like Limp's wanting to get underway too. They're one of those teams, complexity, where they seem to have this nice rhythm about how they want to start their games, even in between the games. Like before every single game, there's a group huddle, there's a group talk. You come out of the game, you walk outside. They always walk outside the box. Like you look at a team like EG, they actually always stay in their box and they're just ready to go. Like PPD's just like the ends game one says, all right, we're ready to start game number 2. Every time they play a series.
They seem very, very friendly with each other. I mean, obviously, when 4 of the players on the team have an actual brotherly bond,
Yeah.
of course, Limp and Chessie being brothers, and Sea Freak and Swindles being the other set of brothers.
How have we not had more Band of Brothers memes on these guys?
It's true. I think as the success of them rises, we've already seen them. Like they've had I wouldn't say a meteoric rise, because already at TI they sort of upset some teams.
Yeah.
But really, the Shanghai was the first time that they really, with their new lineup, you would think that it would cripple them, that they lost, especially a player like Moonmeander, who went on to win the Frankfurt Major. But their new lineup is better than ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's whenever you change it around, like you always wonder, like, does it feel like the same team? Like even on most of the websites, these guys are complexity 2.0. But man, have they had a great time. Now we get ourselves back and underway, and we'll look to find Swindles. Oh, FNG, man, can Limp be more of a bait right now? They need to get closer. There's no mana for Thunder God's Wrath, but Chen, okay, there's a good nuke from Z-Freak. So they bring down the Spirit Breaker. That kill still does happen, and they might find more. Lil does not have tether. 3 seconds left on it. They need to inflict more damage. Evolve lets the cooldown go. Now the Thunder God's Wrath will be expended. But you got a huge army of Treants.
The thing is,
Chen army is gone. Okay, God's coming over for this. Say goodbye to your Treant army. The Fly can't take care of that. FNG is already back to front line, chasing up a Z-Free. Chetsy, the Sprout doesn't really keep much out. FNG is actually body blocking in the Chen army with the help of compLexity's own Sprout.
so compLexity gets 2 kills, but this might not even matter all that much for Virtus.Pro, because what also happened was that the smoke was blown right away. This could have potentially been a Rose attempt from compLexity. I think that was actually what they wanted to do. Then they're like, okay, we're gonna pick up these support kills.
Swindles, God, hello, Swindles. Gonna try and man fight this, but God expended his exorcism. If Swindles can just run out of this one, this is almost a victory for himself. Chessy needs to make more space with the Sprite. At least get the vision over on God. Is there a Crypt Swarm? You're looking for it. It's on cooldown. Swindles runs out. FNG. There's the bolt from Limp coming in. They're still actually kiting around God. In the middle of this ultimate, Limp gets body blocked up by a neutral. And with a Crypt Swarm and the Spirit Siphon, Limp, it will go down. God, he's still got the sexism for another couple of seconds. Lil wants to stick with him and just hold his hand away. And they will be successful at doing so.
What actually happened and why the Ursa wasn't killed was that he hung on to Enrage for so long that when God wanted to deliver that final Crypt Swarm of death, he just pressed the Enrage button and took next to no damage from it. Really patient play from him.
Hanskin left that top lane as well. He was doing everything he could not to leave until he hit level 6. Now he has that level 6. So we have to keep in mind the compLexity, like most of that fight happened without him.
Yeah, and I think Hanskin here, rightfully so, opting to save for the Blink Dagger rather than getting an early Aether Lens.
Is Swindle's gonna... Yeah, he is. He doesn't even care if they've got vision, which he's got to assume they do. Whoops, that's not what he wanted to do though. He wanted to take the aggro and then let the illusion tank for him, but he lost one of his illusions. So Chesney needs to sprout and summon a couple of Treants here. FNG's going to walk his way in, and Roshan down to 1/3 now with the movement of Hanskin. The cooldown's coming. But already VP pull everything out of the pit. Thunder God's Wrath was expended by compLexity, so they've lost one of their big ultimates as well.
Yeah, and as soon as the Most basically wastes the cooldown, there's no way that they can go in and take the fight again. Goes down up on the Death Prophet, and they simply do not have the level to support any kind of aggression right now. Level 4 on Wisp with no items. He has 2 Gauntlets of Strength and a Smoke of the Sea, and then you have a Spirit Breaker who has Boots of Speed and level 4 as well. So they just can't allow themselves to go in and contest this Roshan anymore when there's no Death Prophet.
And this is what VP knew what they're always going to be up against. Now they're up against an immortal Ursa. How do you deal with this? Do you wait out the 7 minutes? Because you're not really going to be able to force down any of the lanes. Because Nature's Prophet will make sure you cannot do that.
Oh yeah, compLexity is in full control, and worse yet is that even though when we look at the last hit and deny score, you think, oh, Virtus.Pro is doing fine. No, they're not, because all of the heroes in compLexity is building up these items that they need to. So in 5 minutes from now, everyone will be itemized in compLexity, and they'll be able to fight. Chen will have a mechanism, Zeus will have... He might even, instead of going for the Aether Lens, maybe he'll go for an early Veil. That'll benefit them hugely in these early engages.
And at that point, like, I'm just looking at VP being food on their Spirit Breaker and Iron. These guys have 4 CS between the 2 of them.
Exactly. Lion has 1500 gold now with Tranquil Boot, so he'll have a Blink Dagger. Jesse has Face Boots and Drum on the Nature's Prophet. And then of course the Ursa, he's also going for drums. I think would have probably benefit them more. Oh no, he's not. I misclicked. That's on me. So he has the Morbid Mask and he's gonna go for that Blink Dagger as well. So yeah, compLexity can just take every fight they want to from here on and for the next 10 minutes basically.
Is it worthwhile? Because I'm like, with a lot of Ursas these days, we have been seeing the Mask of Madness being more of a prevalent pick for the Ursas. I'm wondering if it's more worthwhile for compLexity to get something more like a Vladimir's over on him and let the Chen go into the mech, because you can have drums, mech, and then Vlad's all at a really good time for compLexity.
Only if they're really snowballing hard and feeling like they can end the game right here and now. I don't see him going for it. Yeah, again, if they do a double wipe into taking tier 2 towers and you're knocking on their base door and they have no items to speak of, you might go for Vlads.
Yeah. But if not, just go for the standard build.
Yeah, I think so. You might as well play it safe, right? Again, single elimination tournament, a lot on the line. These teams, I don't think they're ever gonna make any itemization mistakes. We've also seen, so Swindle is of course a player who has a
Yeah, how are you going to do this one, Jacob?
sort of a funny little story from TI that I won't dwell into, but he's really come into his own. I think he was one of the better offlaners at the Shanghai Major. He might have actually been better on his role than their actual placement was. So they finished top 6, I believe.
Yeah.
And he definitely performed within top 5 of the offlaners, and maybe even top 3, some could argue. He was really a deciding factor of why they were as successful as they were.
It feels more like a comfortable patch for Swindles too. Like we've heard a lot of the stories like around Moon, for example, where they just go like it's just not his patch, and damn all those Iron Talent builders and so on and so forth. But Swindles, like having a hero like a Beastmaster, which he looks so comfortable on. That's why I was expecting it in this game until they said, you know what, like let's just switch it around with Chessie and Swindles.
All of it, like his whole understanding of the offlane and the momentum and everything. And this is a player who changed roles fairly recently, right? He changed after TI, so the fact that he understands it so well and his role fits so well into the meta right now is truly amazing. And not only the Beastmaster, but the Tidehunter, and then more impressively to me is the Pandaren Brewmaster and how much he made out of that hero in the team fights that they took throughout Shanghai.
Yeah, I remember that was actually one of the big highlight games when we were talking about complexity before we even started this tournament, just having a nice like chinwag about complexity, and that was one of the big things you guys flagged. It's just like how good that Brewmaster was in that game.
Yeah, it created so much space, perfect initiation every time. I'd almost say that it did more than the Tidehunter could have done in such a game, despite the fact that Tidehunter is far and away one of the better initiators and disruptive forces when he gets into the center of things.
All right, so currently the discussion is about a little bit of packet loss for the players. It's nothing big, but it's not flawless, and complexity always like to make sure that everything is as good as it can possibly be before they will continue. But they obviously don't want to make any kind of mistakes. Like their lineup is in such a great commanding position. Well done.
There is a grill on screen in the stadium.
There is, and it appears Croatians are excited by grills.
I can't fault them.
We should have a barbecue.
So, something else to take note of is the fact that Chessie isn't using Wrath of Nature. Take note, all top players out there. He is not using Wrath of Nature to just farm or push out waves or anything. And it's actually hindering Virtus.Pro's level gain as well. Because it would benefit them greatly if waves would push into their tier 1 tower so that they could actually pick up some level on, for instance, Spirit Breaker and the Wisp.
There's a lot of bitterness coming out from that, Jacob. But you're 100% right. Like Wrath of Nature.
not even. Like most of the games that I play, I'm the Nature's Prophet. I'm spamming that Wrath of Nature like no tomorrow. I'm like, I'm just gonna get my items. I'm gonna get dollar and get paid. I gotta have, like most people go into matchmaking games thinking I have to solo carry this, and I'm no different than that.
Yeah. But in this game, and in a professional game, and in any real game, whenever you push the lanes,
this is how you play it.
You give experience back. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons, and this is the
when
lane,
you actually like your
control.
teammates and there's actual money on the line. This is how you should be playing it.
Yeah. Yeah, which is funny because like when you get the Aghanim Scepter, like before the Aghanims was never a pickup on Prophet because the Prophet ulti was only ever used for team fights. Now because you actually summon trees,
it's already fallen out of favor again. I don't
really.
Like, the Aghanims build is only something you do out of desperation now. All wise men tell me this.
Okay.
Because I still spammed it a bit. I was like, yeah, Moon Meander he was probably onto something. It did net him a sweet $1 million. But it's fallen out of favor again. Now the drum, as we see on every Nature's Prophet, obviously, is the face boots and the drums of endurance. And then you often follow up with either, like, it's sort of momentum based as well. Maybe you go for a mechanism to help out your team. In this case, they have a Chen, so he will probably pick it up. And then you go for a Maelstrom, and then you build from there depending on what you need. But we really go for a more of a DPS-based Nature's Prophet rather than just the rat style that was very successful for both OG and Alliance throughout the recent couple of months. But we saw a change, sort of a change in temperature throughout Shanghai, where, you know, neither OG or Alliance did particularly well compared to how well they had been doing throughout the winter.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering about this game because I think with our previous pause we broke down almost every possible scenario of this game. But with this one we didn't actually talk about one thing: the build that comes out from Chessie. You said like you could go for something like a Maelstrom. If we look for a timing attack here from complexity, if we look at what's really good up against Virtus.Pro, is it even worthwhile understanding that Horse is way off his BKB, getting something like a Necrobook up from Chessie and going on that kind of push? Or is the Maelstrom too good for that normal lane presence you get from a Prophet?
You don't really need to do the split push. Actually, you do not want to do the split push because there's a Wisp and a Spirit Breaker on the side of Virtus.Pro, so relocate poses way too big of a threat.
But if you leave the Necrobook just pushing down the lane, then
the
you're
Necrobook
not
will
in a
just
threat.
it's just easy money for Gyrocopter especially.
Yeah, true.
And for Darkseer to run down as well. Maybe even Death Prophets. No, Necrobook really isn't the build here. Rather, again, going back to the DPS build, opening up with the Maelstrom and being able to take down these two only targets that deal damage on the side of Virtus.Pro with either the Gyrocopter or the Death Prophet is much more important. And they do need that damage in case that Ursa gets kited around, for instance, or there's BKBs, because they are going to build into Black King Bar on the Gyrocopter.
Oh yeah.
Namely, so they need someone else than the Ursa, because in case Ursa is being locked down, you need something else to take down the Gyrocopter once he's in BKB form, because Lion Zeus is going to do nothing.
Yeah, you're right. Like, they'll throw out their nukes and Gyro will take a little bit of damage, but then again, we still have Vorce with that lifesteal. Because if he goes directly into the BKB, like, there'll be no damage early on. Once that BKB is down, a Vorce is just going to pop. So that early damage will remain.
He's only going to pop if the enemy isn't dead, and if the enemy isn't dead after 10 seconds of BKB, you've already done something wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you haven't, but your team has then.
Yeah, Death Prophet should have already like swung the fight enough. The complexity should be running away at that point.
Yeah, they'll be at a losing position regardless. If they haven't killed anyone after the 10-second BKB, something's wrong.
Yeah. All right. Well, so much for 1 minute.
I mean, I don't even mind that time apparently goes by slower in Croatia. We're at a beautiful place. We're in split Croatia. There's
Hey, you were the lazy one yesterday. You stayed in bed with Blitz.
I mean, if
you could snuggle all day with Ming Ling, but you didn't come out with Cap,
First
Conrad,
of all,
and Dirker and myself
William
and
is
actually
a
have a look at the
lovely
beautiful
person. Second of all, we have
Yeah.
a beautiful view over the Adriatic Sea.
You do.
We do.
Grill's back.
Another grill on screen.
Same grill. No, but if you go down, like you go down and visit the city center, it's even more beautiful down there. I don't normally go out and visit. Like, I'm very antisocial
You really
when I travel.
Yeah.
I really don't. And this is the one time when I think, you know what, it's actually be worthwhile to do it. So yeah, and it was. It really was. Croatia is beautiful.
So you've been in just about every interesting city in the world, and you've thought to
I've been in a
yourself,
lot
now I'm
of
in Croatia,
countries.
now I want to go out. Not New
Yeah.
York, not Shanghai.
Dude, you remember what New York was for us. Like, walking from our hotel to Madison Square Garden, and New York for us was a couple of homeless people on the side of the street just talking and singing to themselves, walking past the bags of rubbish, and eventually reaching Madison Square Garden, and then the same walk back again later, trying to avoid the rain, puddles, and other runoff.
I think it's because you're Australian, you're just not used to it. You have like all this space to...
Yeah, Australia is a clean country. A very clean country. It's a beautiful place. That's actually like Croatia. Like, for me, it's everything I wanted from Eastern Europe, but it's with cleanness. It's really, really nice.
It's also right down the middle, isn't it? It's very borderline whether it's west or eastern.
I really suck at geography. Like, it's not my strong suit. I didn't even know my capital cities of Australia. That was bad.
I know it, I just can't remember it.
Really, Jacob?
Ask me
You're
later
gonna
once
go
Google
for that
is
claim?
Is it Adelaide? No, it's not. It's
No, it is definitely not.
it's
Most people actually get really like messed up on it because they think it's actually Canberra. But it's not, because that's from the Australian Capital Territory. But it's Melbourne.
Is it Melbourne?
Most people think it's Sydney.
Are you sure it's Melbourne?
There was actually a push for it to be Sydney for a very long time, because Sydney thought they had control of the entire world. Yeah. Beautiful place, Melbourne. Only been there once.
The more you know.
Yeah. Big tennis place. Big tennis place. And AFL. The real football.
Is that rugby?
I'm gonna get destroyed here in Croatia for saying that. No, it is not rugby. It's AFL. You act like you've never heard of.
That's because I haven't.
I don't want to cast with you anymore.
So anyways, back to the game.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, let's go back to the game.
If we are to dissect the game further, what do you think, Toby? What is Limp gonna go for on the Zeus? Is he gonna go for the
Well, Ether Lens is
tried and tested Ether Lens build, or is he gonna go straight into
It's got to be Ether Lens. He's got to keep his distance away from the Death Prophet. And Ether Lens is going to be the only way he really can do that. I'm more interested to see where he goes on his second item pickup, because I have bullets in my ear saying Force Staff is a crap item. Time and time again, that keeps coming up. So I would lean further towards like Limp picking up something like a Blink Dagger. In this, as opposed to something like a Yule Scepter, because I see Yule's working against him too much.
You don't think Veil of Discord is the go-to?
Oh, that'll be really nice. But you then completely lack, like, you have to play a perfect positional game. Because there's so much room to be punished if you do such a thing.
That is true, and it is difficult to position yourself properly against both, the vacuum of Darkseer, a Spirit Breaker charging right at you.
Yeah. Like a Death Prophet even herself, like she moves so quickly, and when you got a Wisp that can buff up anybody as well, and relocate it in anywhere.
Exactly, and you do not want to get close to neither the Gyrocopter or the Death Prophet. Rocket Barrage obviously call down, the Ghost and the Spirit Siphon from the Death Prophet.
It's actually one of those times when I would have actually preferred to say Force Staff is good, because you're able to get yourself out of cooldown. You can get yourself away from a Spirit Siphon. It won't matter if you take damage, because you're not up against like a big team fight controller. There's no one like a Puck in this game which will say you must stay in this region.
I'll give it to you, Toby.
I don't want to take it.
In this particular situation, I think Force Staff is a decent item. I don't think he'll go for it, but it's definitely has its usage against the lineup.
Or we can just have confidence in Limp's abilities as a player, so we can go for the Ether Lens as well as the Veil of Discord and just completely blow up Virtus.Pro.
I think that's the play.
It does look like the play. They got so much burst magical damage that having the amplification of Veil, you could potentially kill off that Death Prophet, which is not really a hero you would think you could kill off. And because Death Prophet is going for the Yule Scepter, it's not as though like you're having to... Okay, it's not as though you're having to waste any kind of time. Like you blow everything you've got and you just move on to your next target. You don't worry as much about her as her exorcism as you might think. So it looks like we're going to have ourselves a small break, as they are still trying to sort out a couple of the problems here. So we'll be back hopefully in a very short space of time with VP vs compLexity Game 2 continuing on.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We're coming back. We are coming back. We have a game to keep going on right now. Virtus.Pro going up against compLexity has restarted.
Resumed, rather. Restarted.
There we go. We're back in just in time. Turn the in-game sound to Z-Freak. Being initiated on a nice double stun from Hanskin. Welcome back to the game, boys and girls. 2 heroes down straight away as they dive VP underneath the tier 1 tower. They're able to snipe out compLexity's courier as it was flying in the drums of endurance recipe for Chessie, so they won't have that, but compLexity taking a good engagement. God still has his exorcism. Havors, however, does not have his ultimate with the lightning bolt. They reveal him now, the finger of death. Hanskin just with a quick snipe takes the kill.
Yeah, that's going to result in an immediate tier 1 tower, and this is, again, this is where compLexity's lineup starts shining a lot, and this, they don't even have completed mechanism yet.
Hanskin perfect control with a clap right behind it. They're able to go from kill to kill, and now the tier 1 tower. Well, that break, it looks like compLexity kept their focus perfectly, and do they keep going now? Like, Roshan is obviously still down for a while, Swindle says the Aegis as we all get our timing bearings. They can just keep forcing the issue, and what's the trade-off? God taking a tier 1 tower on the top after you lose tier 1 and tier 2 tower in the mid.
Yeah, and again, overshadowing issue is the fact is that they still don't have the levels they need on their 2 supports.
Swindles. Trouble. Being charged down. He is pretty low.
Does have his Aegis though, and Enrage is still ready as well.
Oh, they really want to trigger it. This actually push Swindles into a bad position. In compLexity, they have to stick around to try and fight this. Swindles, well, where's your exorcism? God's bringing it in now. Swindles wants to try and fight and bring down a Vortex if possible. The damage is so quick, but it's just not enough. Swindles low on life. Chessie as well, backing out of here. The Wrath of Nature, it bounces through, but it's nowhere near enough damage, not compared to what VP is pumping out. And now Limp will also fall down. compLexity, maybe they should just left Swindles for dead.
Finally, level 6 on both the VP support heroes. We see how Virtus.Pro can actually fight when there's no Finger of Death up on the Lion, just because of how strong the Death Prophet is at this stage of the game. So, probably compLexity underestimating just how much damage that Virtus.Pro have in just the Darkseer and the Death Prophet himself. They almost blew up Favorst again. Would have been like almost a, I wouldn't say a fair trade, but it would have been still decent for them if they had actually managed to kill off the gyrocopter.
Well, hello, Chessie. Relocate's coming down, so it's supposed to be part of this battle hall. He's here, giving them a chance to kill him off. They've already killed off the IO. Chessie being sent back as quickly as they possibly can. FNG is low on life. Z-Freak bringing the support in. And VP really trying to show they can be aggressive, but compLexity rallying support very quickly too.
Yeah, and then the mechanism heal being crucial to surviving then. Swindle is just being super hard to deal with because of Enrage. These little burst damage engagement really won't benefit Virtus.Pro a lot.
They need those bigger ones where they can control more.
Exactly, they want to take like extended fights where they can run around with them and sort of utilize the timing of Death Prophet and have her ghost do their work.
I want to keep a close eye on this Lion too. I know we were talking about Hanskin about him getting space, but he's got that Blink Dagger up for the Lion. With that jump in initiation, like movements like what Havors is doing right now, just wandering down the river from the top, even that can be like fraught with peril. Because you've got Hanskin who can just blink in, okay, when he's preparing the tower for deny. He just has to take the aggro in order to do it. But yeah, he can blink in. Finger of Death off. Then you got both Thunder God's Wrath as well as Nature's Prophet, Wrath of Nature. It almost feels like that Nyx Assassin style combination. You run in, you hit with Vendetta, and then the globals just come in and you find yourself a quick pick off every single time.
Yeah, a big problem right now for Virtus.Pro is also the fact that they've lost all control of their jungle right now. You see them going around on the top side of the map. It's not because they necessarily are looking for a gank or want to be there. It's just that they have no alternative. There's complete control of the Radiant jungle. You see the 2 wards outlining just how much vision compLexity has, and that there are no wards from the Radiant side. They just haven't had the opportunity to either run in and ward themselves or try and de-ward. Because they've been on the back foot the entire time.
Complexity smoke movement. They're assuming that their entire jungle is warded up, so this smoke will allow them to move forward. Z-Freak is still showing himself on bottom, which might give enough confidence for VP to push up on the top lane, but the only player that's still left there is the IO. Avos instead, he's trying to go for the Ancients. They're still on the run out of here. And do they move over? Yeah, they do. They move to the Ancients. They'll find FNG. Quick on the Hex. Very quick on the kill. Secured by the Zeus.
Yeah, and I think Virtus.Pro should actually be pretty happy with the fact that they only lost the Spirit Breaker, because compLexity played this really, really smart, pushing as far up as they did with the Chen, creating the illusion that compLexity was probably around the bottom jungle. On the other hand, though, when it's the Chen pushing the wave on his own, it might also give away the fact that, well, then none of the other heroes are going to be there, because he might as well just be standing in the jungle.
I'm not certain how it's...
He actually playing
wow.
super
He's
aggressive
so
now.
far up. Got the finger of death. He can just let it rip right now. The next time is never Phobos. He couldn't back him up on the cliffside. Hanskin draining out the mana hero Phobos, and the charges just keep going. Swindles. What kill do you want? They couldn't finish off. God, I don't know why. Hanskin almost dying to Lil's ball slap. They're all back out, and in fact, we are going to have ourselves a very quick pause here. As there is some lag coming out for the players. Okay, that's not good.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward position from especially Hanskin to be in. He was a lion without mana, standing on the uphill ledge, but with the only entrance and exit opportunity being running down the stairs that were occupied by most all of Virtus.Pro's lineup. And the Chen was just nowhere to be found, because as we were saying, he was on the Radiant jungle when the fight actually broke out, so there was no mechanism to and no creeps to actually soak up a lot of this damage coming out from the exorcism.
Was that range of finger just too far away?
He didn't have the mana.
Oh, that was just it. That was the reason why he started draining. Okay. Because it felt like one of those moments where if he did have the mana, complexity would have just gone to town. But even Zeus, like
I mean,
Zeus
I
is
thought
better
for
than all-
sure that G was dead, right? It's a it is a 1200 HP death prophet, but even then, it was surrounded by 3 or 4 heroes.
Yeah, but you had 3 or 4 heroes which, like, they were drained. Like, Coddle was not there, mana was not given.
Yeah, you can see Zeus as well is running.
Well, he was empty.
Already, yeah, exactly. So the 2 big burst damage dealers outside of Ursa with enough attacks were both out of mana, so there's not much you can do.
It's kind of surprising then that they took the fight, because complexity had an out. They could have walked away from that.
Well,
God was chasing them. They might have lost one. Like,
at the time of the start of the fight, they spent everything they had on G, which also takes away your ability to get away. Especially because Lion was stuck up there. His Blink Dagger was constantly triggered by spells and so forth, so he had no way of getting back. Most of the other heroes, and then you know, you also got to take the packet loss into consideration. We were talking about how Swindles actually chose a different target than trying to finish off the Death Prophet, and then ran up the...
It may not have been, like, totally planned.
Yeah, he ran up the stairs and just into certain death, so that seemed a little off.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, definitely is.
It did kind of feel a little weird, but they had the perfect vision for it. Like, that Observer Ward was down. That was the other advantage from complexity when they pushed in, and they were able to pick off the early Spirit Breaker pick. And they were able to put down the Observer Ward. They saw exactly what VP were up to. They can keep their eyes on this as well. This is that mechanism which Vorst wants to use to just propel himself forward into this BKB and stop all of the magical damage of complexity.
Yeah, and complexity's lineup is very momentum-based, so losing these fights is something they just cannot afford. You can see the net worth of the different heroes. It's really spiking upwards in favor of the Radiant Virtus.Pro. Especially the Death Prophet is distancing herself a lot. So while it's evened out on the side of complexity, it's starting to matter much less, especially because the Wisp, essentially, any item he has at this point is just a luxury.
Yeah.
Whereas when Death Prophet and Gyrocopter gets their core items, when the Black King Bar will be up on Gyrocopter and the Death Prophet has the Soul Booster, they might have enough HP to just live through these engagements with complexity and then take it on their terms, because they do want to extend these fights, as we were talking about earlier.
Are you on a timeline then if you're Virtus.Pro? Because obviously you'll be looking towards, like, we have to keep in mind this is Ursa, Dire, complexity. Do you then try and take out these tier 1s and tier 2 towers on the mid and the bottom lane, establish control of your jungle back, but more importantly be in a position where you feel you can actually contest complexity for Roshan?
I mean, at this point in time, for the next 10 minutes, any tier 2 tower that Virtus.Pro gets is definitely a luxury. They do want to kill that bottom tier 2 tower. Question is if the wave will ever push into it. It'll probably do so eventually, especially if they keep winning these small skirmishes. And on complexity side of things, they need some of these fights to go their way, so that they can open up to the next Roshan, or actually keep Virtus.Pro down on items, or at least match it on 3 of their heroes. Zeus, of course, always deals a ton of damage, and going into the late game is not necessarily a bad thing for them. Might be very even based on how many disables that they can actually come up with just through Lion himself, and then the mobility of the Nature's Prophet and everything. But even then, I think what they want to do is preferably finish it within the next 10 minutes on the back of an Aegis.
I can see that happening.
Well, not if it continues like this.
Not if it continues like that, but yeah. If it continues like this, then, well...
The thing is, Ursa isn't really that farmed either. Does he have something in base?
Ursa?
Yeah.
He's got the Mask of Madness, and there's nothing on the courier, so the answer is no.
So he has no way of actually getting to these 2 ranged heroes, despite them also being very good in
he has to rely
close
on
combat.
pure movement speed, just from the phase boots as well as the Mask of Madness.
Yeah, and then Hanskin's lockdown, because Nature's Prophet is a double-edged sword, right? Sprout is gonna close them in, but keep him out.
It's almost the time when you want to see Sprout not used on a hero, but used on a path.
Yeah.
So you can control that way.
Zoning is definitely not a bad idea.
Is anyone actually carrying? Because I like this from a voice where he holds on to a quelling blade over on a gyrocopter, but Death Prophet doesn't have that kind of luxury. But it means that if it comes to it, like, a Vorce is the only one that can save someone from a Sprout. No one else is carrying tangos. You could Wisp relocate out, but you Wisp relocate out to save a hero that's sprouted, you've got other problems.
I mean, Sprout is definitely a potent, not disabled, but at least to keep them in place. The question is then, will you have the necessary damage to actually do something about it? Like, if you Sprout a BKB target, it's completely useless. You're actually helping the target if it's a Death Prophet.
Yeah. Unless you can just walk away. Like, that's it, because that's what Sprout does. Like, you just... The Sprout duration was obviously increased recently.
But walking away with Complexity's lineup is essentially losing slowly. Like, it's like bleeding to death.
Yeah, you really don't want to have to do that. Like, you commit to the fight, you win the fight with the magical damage, and then you push on for an objective. That's the complexity fight.
And depending on how the fight starts out, there's also a lot of catch on Virtus.Pro. If the relocate isn't used, there's charge on the Spirit Breaker, there's search on the Darkseer, there's a Eul Scepter on the Death Prophet. There's plenty of ways to negate any targets running away. So what Complexity wants to have happen is burst down at least 1 or 2 targets right off the bat, survive through the mid of the fight through gen heals, and hopefully outnumber them as it goes into the later stages of the fight, and just hope that Death Prophet and Gyrocopter haven't dealt too much damage. Ideally, one of them being dead from the get-go.
The funny thing is, though, I don't think you can actually even focus them. In fact, you may even want to focus the Darkseer as your primary target early on.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all.
You just take the mech out of play. The Wisp and the SB is going to die anyway. Like, there's nothing that's really gonna stop that, because the Wisp is...
I mean, at this point, that's not even a guarantee anymore. Just like SB picking up power threats and having that 1 cloak might suffice in him surviving despite...
Does he actually have the treads?
No, but he's sitting on 600 gold, so eventually he'll probably pick up threats, right? Or an Ogre Club, I don't know. But he might have enough natural HP gain to survive through these engages, because Complexity is not gonna commit any of their hard-hitting spell damage to a Spirit Breaker. They're just not. So he might get the entire charge off, followed up by a Nether Strike, and just run on out of there until he can get off another charge, or just continue bashing depending on how much HP he loses. I don't think FNG will necessarily die unless the fight goes Complexity's way.
Alright, I'm hoping these guys can work out the... I believe I've been told it's an ISP issue that needs to be sorted out. That is the reason why we're having a couple of problems with the players. If we're forced to, maybe we start hosting games on LAN.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, but it does hurt the external casters. That does have to go off Dota TV, which we're also streaming to this time around. Apologies for game 1, that was my fault. I forgot to hit one button.
But people are as always welcome on the main stream on Twitch.
Of course they will, because they support Dota Pit. We have faith in that.
Few rotations inside the booth.
Well, there's already some smack talk going on inside the game. It looks like everyone wants to punch somebody.
compLexity clearly upset about it. It's never cool to lose a team fight based on something you think is out of your hands, and then DK Phobos sort of trying to take part of the joke and saying he'll go Shivas as well to further increase the packet loss.
The more animations, the better, right?
But yeah, it is going to be a beautiful team fight. At least there's no Crystal Maiden in this game. Obviously, with Death Prophet's Exorcism going off, all of Darkseer's spells, if you top a Shiva's off on that as well, Zeus ulti coming out, Gyrocopter.
I'm actually thinking about like how much VP is capable of tanking. Like, do you prepare something like the pipe from Phobos as his next major item? Like, is it even worthwhile finishing up your Greaves? Because you're not really breaking free of much.
It's probably not necessary, but I still think it's just an all-around, you know, it's never bad to have a set of Guardian Greaves.
Yeah.
That being said, you're completely right. Like, a Pipe of Insight is definitely gonna negate a lot of damage coming out from compLexity.
Yeah, you've already got one of the casual cloaks over on FNG, but he needed that. There was no way he could be involved in fights right now. I actually almost kind of wish he was holding onto that Belt of Giant Strength, so he's able to have the extra HP behind that Spirit Breaker. Because he needs to survive and rely on something other than the Darkseer.
Yeah, he might pick it up. I think he just got a little payday through those 2 kills that they picked up. He might not have been able to afford it earlier. Chen is actually sitting on a decent amount of farm now. He has the Mechanism and the Arcane Boots, obviously, and then sitting on 1700 gold.
Well, Jacob, we're going to have ourselves another break as we'll wait for VP and compLexity and the ISP issues to be sorted out. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't take too long, and we'll be back here to complete up game number 2 of VP versus compLexity.
tower, and from there they just had this poor engagement in the Radiant jungle near the mid tier 2 tower, which led their supports to get the levels they needed first of all, and then secondly, G and Gods, sorry, that's the same guy. G and Hvost is just picking up the items they need now. Almost BKB completed on Hvost on the gyrocopter, which is gonna matter a lot. And then of course the soul booster. G can afford it. He has the point booster already. He's sitting on 3,000 gold.
If he can complete this BKB within the next 1 minute, because that's how long it is until Roshan's going to spawn up. Obviously, because we de-seed and reseed, we don't have a countdown timer on Roshan, but it'll appear on our screen. So we've actually got about 45 seconds now until Roshan's going to be spawning up. If Complexity are quick about this, VP may not be able to get what they really want to. It's like, it's the Aegis Immortal that allows you to take these outer towers with a lot more confidence.
Oh yeah, it takes very little for Complexity to take down the Roshan. Like, when we talked about this 8 minutes ago, or rather 48 minutes ago before the break, but 8 minutes game time, it looked so good for Complexity because they were picking up all the core items on the hero they needed. They had distributed the farm almost evenly throughout, and that remains, right? Only Lion is trailing slightly behind, and even then he has the Blink Dagger. Really,
yeah. He's got everything he needs.
The core item, the key item that he needs.
Yeah, you said it yourself, like Wisp, any item he gets is then a luxury. It's the same thing for a Lion. Once you picked up that Blink Dagger and Tranquils, any other item is a luxury.
I mean, you'd like the Aether Lenses as well.
Yeah. That'd be nice, but it's still, it's that luxury kind of approach you can go for.
Yeah, and then of course Octarine Core and Aghanims
hello.
just go crazy.
Chessie actually goes for the Veil of Discord. This will allow Lim to go direct, like he's already got the Aether Lens. Is he picking up a Yule Scepter here?
Or the coveted Force Staff that you were talking about earlier, but I think it is, probably.
Yules can make more sense on the Zeus because you want to have the movement speed and the regeneration that comes with it. You don't get enough out of the 4-star.
Yeah, the reason is very good.
Yeah.
It doesn't really offer much against the V. Well, against the Spirit Breaker, I guess it's pretty useful.
Yeah. I can understand that.
But yeah, a bit peculiar with the Veil pickup on the Nature's Prophet. I was sure that he would need additional DPS, physical damage output.
This might be Complexity feeling like they're falling behind a little bit more and realize they need to take a big fight and they're going to need to take it now. So you get the Aegis Immortal and you come up with a plan to try and utilize it. VP, however, this will be their plan. Keep your eyes on that Blink Daggering Phobos and no, okay, nice Thunder God's Wrath. Reveals out the fact that Virtus.Pro are just around the outside of the tree line smoked up. You have a Blink Dagger Darkseer who's level 11. So it's going to be a really good back. Not a level 2 wall just yet. Wow, Complexity, all those trees?
With all due respect to VP, this is actually the first time I've seen them play clever rather than just engaging head over heels. You would normally see the Russian squad just run on in and just fight and hope for the best. Use their obvious high level of skill to just pound down their enemies. But this time around, they actually chose to back off, knowing that
Swindles is so alone.
Let's have that Aegis.
Well, they're going in again. They broke another smoke. You've actually burnt 2 smokes for this play from Virtus.Pro. Yes, they're not just running in and going for it, but you've burnt 2 of your very now sparse smokes.
It's not that Virtus.Pro can't fight, it's more that they realize that if they don't fight on their terms, this might very well spiral out of control for them. This is very crucial point in time. G very close to that Octarine Core that really just puts him over the top in terms of how much damage output he can actually have and how hard he is to kill, more importantly. And then of course they have the Blacking Bar on Hvost, so Chessie diving in very deep all on his own.
Yeah, he's looking for the target. They're going to find Lil. Support's coming in. Blink is up for Swindles. Actually, no, it's all cooldown. Chessie being charged out. And now they're for the cooldown, but back into the wall. Swindles tries to do out the damage to a Force, and with that control trap, he's able to actually get those Fury Swipes up to 7. But he's taking too much damage for us. Hanskin fingering down the Force. It's just not enough damage. Hanskin barely staying alive. Swindles has to walk back through the wall, trying to kill off FNG to give space for Lim. He's able to achieve that. Now Phobos, front line, Blink forward. They will find that chase kill into the Lion. So it's a 2-for-2 trade-off. Z-Freak's TP will be successful.
Very even trade so far. The standoff in the jungle actually took so long that the Zeus ulti came back off cooldown just as Hvost needed that final hit to die.
And Complexity should be really happy.
No, I don't think so. I think Virtus.Pro should be content with the fact that they went even in a time where every fight that they lose will give a bit of an edge to complexity in this little gap of time that they have to complete the game, because it's only gonna get more increasingly difficult, right? They have to push up against a DP with the core items that she needs, Darkseer with the core items that
Prophet.
she needs.
Here's your TP forward. Lil just wants to get out of here. Swindles, he won't do enough damage. Okay, take it all back, Swindles. Never doubt you again, bro.
It was already cancelled by the Dark Scroll summon.
Now, well, that TP may have completed in time, but yeah.
So yeah, that initial TP that started off the fight from Chessie was so aggressive. If you look at the rest of the complexity of the team, they were actually standing all the way back down in the corner of the lane, which would take them a good 5 to 8 seconds to run to where he was. So very manly by my fellow Viking from Sweden.
Is he really fellow? Considering you're a Dane?
I mean, we ruled over them. They claim they ruled over us. I don't.
Yeah, go take your scorn there. They need to get rid of that observer ward freshly planted down by Virtus.Pro. It's watching the movements here of complexity. And complexity definitely want to attack into that mid tier 2. It's so low on life, like it's currently sitting at 3-3-2. So it's not going to take that much of a complexity to work through it. Hello, Aghanim Scepter Chen. So what do we got? We got Black Dragons and we got Thunder Lizards.
I mean, that's an easy pickup. You obviously go for the Ancient Black Dragon. It's probably the best creep in the game. Not just because of the armor stack that you get.
Oh, Swindles. Here they go again. Hanskin blinks in, goes to the Hex over an FNG, but Frobot, perfect timing for that back double ball. The follow-up silence means that Hanskin can't really return any kind of damage, and he cannot blink away in time. Swindles, however, he's got a little bit of help. God, okay, he caught out Chessie. FNG just runs at him. Chessie will get bumped out, trying to just TP himself away in time, but that Spirit Break is just too quick for him. So 2 players down for complexity. We've still got some time before Roshan can come up. Z-Freak's TP also successful. It's a big pickup when VP get this. This is another time now where complexity have lost 2 players, one of them being Chessie. Chessie needs to keep these side lanes pressured in, so VP can't just go for these 5-man movements. They've always got to worry about what are they trading.
Yeah, and right now every minute passing by is in favor of Virtus.Pro, unless of course complexity starts farming out of control. I could foresee this Ursa being a huge threat if this goes very, very late, but at this present time, with how the game is currently panning out, it looks more and more in VP's favor.
Yeah. Just want to see them go for the high ground. Like, that's the only real concern I think I have for Virtus.Pro's lineup, is can they get up there without losing heroes too quickly? And do they lose on the split push? Like, this is a nature's prophet. They will always have to come back.
It's a concern that's even bigger for complexity though, again, because they have to push into Darkseer, Death Prophet.
Chessie should be dead right now. FNG's charged forward. The Death Prophet's still a little bit further away. Okay, that's nice from Hanskin. A defensive sprout from Chessie.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Split push is just not an option for complexity against this Virtus.Pro lineup. IO and Spirit Breaker together just makes split pushing nearly impossible.
See, I'd almost be fine if you commit like big abilities, like a lot of time to try and chase down the Prophet, because then you buy more space for Ursa just to burn through more and more Roshans, slowly get himself bigger and bigger, and have someone like Limp, because Limp has managed to, after having not the greatest start in the world, you're looking at a Eul Scepter BTs as well as Ether Lens on him. He's got everything he really requires to be with his team.
Yeah, and all complexity has actually gotten out of these past 10 minutes is the fact that Swindles has gotten bigger, and but it's at the cost of Chessie, who hasn't really gotten anything. He's sitting on 2,000 gold, which is...
Yeah, I'm not feeling the Chessie influence in this game.
It's decent, but like 10 minutes ago, there was only a massive madness up on the Ursa, and now he does have a...
Lightning Bolt, Hanskin, perfect double stun! FNG, they actually got the Greaves up in time. God has to use it for himself, but they need that kill spin on the waiting for it. They bring down God up, the ultimate burn limb, the TP! Just in time, thanks to the heal coming in from Z-Freak. Evolve couldn't finish the job. FNG sprouted up to Chessie. He doesn't really have a lot of physical damage thanks to that veil, but it's still gonna be enough. Yep, they find the pickoff. It's 2 for 1. Phobos has enough space he can blink himself away. Swindles cannot keep up with this, or can he? Phase boots a back off cooldown. Never doubt the Swindle. He's got now Blink Dagger, back off cooldown, jumps forward, gets the slow. Surge in 1 second time from Phobos, however. So he'll get the distance here. Limp with the lightning bolt, can't slow him down, but he's got the Eul that will do the job instead. Phobos again able to trigger off these Greaves. He's wasting so much time as complexity, chasing through their own jungle. He cannot escape though. They will still find the pickoff, and that's 2 cores and a support going down for VP. Complexity, they had to take so much time to do it.
Yeah, so Zeus going for a very classic late game adaptation build. He went for the Yule Scepter that we were talking about earlier. Now he has the Boots of Travel as well, so he has a lot of move speed. He's hard to catch and lock down. And then he'll eventually get that Octarine Core, and then he's actually a huge threat in the late game as well. Normally we don't say that of pure spell-based heroes, but Zeus is just one of those that are so strong, in part also because of Static Field, that just takes away so much HP from everyone.
FNG? Sorry, that felt a little weird. Please, Z-Freak didn't have any control.
But look at the gold gain on Swindles right now. He's sitting on 4,500 gold now. He has that Blink Dagger and the Mask of Madness, so by all means he has the Initiate he needs. Will he go for a straight Abyssal Blade, or... what else could there be? Isn't that just the item to get? Or maybe an Aghanim Scepter, but I don't think he really feels like he has survivability problems right now. Because it just seems like Virtus.Pro has bigger issues to deal with. Like, they want to get the backline that is Zeus and Lion first.
Is it worth getting something more like...
I think that the fact that they had the Chen on their side...
Hanskin, he jumped in, FNG, he'll go for that Nether Strike, Havor so low, the relocate out will save him. He didn't go too fast, so Havor's can still be part of the fight, but they burn his BKB charge once again.
Bit of miscommunication though, because while it saved him, it also made sure that the Lion wouldn't go down. Hanskin got away despite the fact that Havor had already used his Black King bar. So Havor had 5 seconds to basically kill off the Lion that had already used his Blink and his Disables.
The Aghanim's is too good in Swindle's mind. He went straight for it.
And it definitely is. Now he's practically unkillable, I think.
While the Horse is going old school, almost like that old 32-minute S&Y build that we saw prevalent in China for such a long time. He's going to get a 30-minute S&Y now onto this Gyrocopter after he's got the BKB. But man, this is so too easy for compLexity sometimes. Like, what do you even do when you're Virtus.Pro? Like you said it before. Like, it doesn't take anything for compLexity to kill off Roshan. It is one of the easiest things that they can do, but it takes so much committal of resources from Virtus.Pro in order to stop compLexity from taking this. And now you look at the net worths. Yes, Death Prophet's on top, but straight nipping at her heels is both the Ursa as well as the Zeus. There's so much money coming in time and time to compLexity, and now they've got a second life on Swindles, and they've got the cheese over on Zeus. Even if you don't have the Octarine, you've still got that ability to get your mana and your life back.
Yeah, there's just no trade-off for Virtus.Pro to actually take, because all of their lanes are pushed out. They have zero control over their own half of the map. So, and they basically spent the same time doing nothing that compLexity spent taking down Roshan, because they ran around as 5, they went into the secret shop, they weren't really sure what to do, what is the objective we can actually gain from this, what are we actually going to spend our time doing, and they ended up doing nothing.
And now compLexity. And they're actually going to fight they want to take. VP is hiding inside their base. And they're getting more and more damage. Finally, Chessie is attack speed as well as damage is increased with Mjolnir.
Yeah, and Hanskin is now only a recipe shy of the Aetherlens as well, so... I think compLexity has done a really, really good job at transitioning into the late game and making sure that they get those additional items. They realized that, oh, okay, the timing, the window we had to close out this game early on is now... It disappeared with the wipe that we had in the jungle, and later on when we got picked up at the top room.
So they just had to buy space. I'm still wondering why. Like, you got Havorst with an SMY. Like, when you have something like this with the BKB, like, you're obviously not just going to go straight for late game when you do this, like, 30 minutes into the game. So they're looking to try and be prepared to fight against compLexity, but compLexity are denying them the engagement. They're very happy just removing all the outer towers. With this tier 2 tower now dropping on the top lane, compLexity have all their tier 2 towers on VP.
Well, this is super interesting though. There's gonna be a Black King bar up on the Death Prophet. He has an Arcane Rune in his bottle with an Octarine Core. Practically no cooldown on Exorcism.
Has some. But if these fights can drag out, like the beautiful thing about having
Crypt Swarm will be
Crypt Swarm's definitely fantastic.
Very spammable.
Yeah. The beauty would be if you can take the fight, you could then use Exorcism to push straight after it. That would be the beautiful thing that would come out from this kind of combo. But you're still okay. Chessie takes care of the bottom lane, and he could do this so quickly. This is the reason why, and you're seeing it right there. Like, Maelstrom is so good over on a Nature's Prophet.
He actually picked up full Mjolnir as well.
Yeah. The lightning shield. Now that's real disco.
And it's good on your Ursa as well. Like when he frontline jumps in. They'll take so much damage. It's just additional magic damage, though. That's the only downside, I guess. If it's even a downside.
I don't know if it really is a downside at this point. Like, your BKB duration's at 7 seconds over on the Gyrocopter. Yes, 10 seconds over on the Death Prophet, but you've seen complexity. Like, they trade for it sometimes when that BKB is up.
Ooh, that's expensive. Provos just used another BKB charge. That's 60 seconds without it. And there's still the Aegis up. This is actually where complexity wanted to push for an objective, possibly a mid-push.
They might even gonna pick off Lil. He's got his tether available. He's gonna come up. Of also just far enough away. Swindles. Okay, that's aggressive.
I think Hanskin was the only one who could actually stop that in time.
Fun to see Swindles now going in because I think we were both thinking of Pistol Blade in this game. For the control over on the Gyrocopter or on anyone really, but he's gone for a Shadow Blade instead.
I'm a bit puzzled over the Shadow Blades.
Is it meant to be against anyone, like into a Silver Edge? Does that even like really do anything against anyone with VP?
No. Well, I mean, Spirit Breaker can't bash for a few seconds if he's the target.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, this is... Like, the only reason why you then get that is, like, you're just looking for a pick-off that doesn't require a Blink Dagger. But now FNG charges on Swindles. He's got no real support here. He can't go in because, again, Enrage breaks free. He's still got the Aegis Immortal. Phobos gonna drag him back in. Commits the wall as well. Swindles, okay, for the Aegis the Immortal burn. They had to commit a lot. Then Scott's gonna have the Shadow Blade up in just a moment. He'll use it. They've got the Sentry Ward down, so Swindles will end up dying. All 5 heroes from Virtus.Pro ensuring they can find the kill on him.
Yeah, that Shadow Blade definitely isn't the item.
Yeah, it feels odd. More than odd.
I mean, if it was because you wanted escapability or survivability or weaving back in and out, Black King Bar is always an option that makes you practically invulnerable. Hell, just go for a hard. I don't know why you would go for a 35-minute Shadow Blade.
Speaking about
and again, the Basher just does so much for a hero like Ursa. There's no reason not to get it.
Because you got huge attack speed, and you want to find, like, because it gives you strength and it gives you damage.
Yeah, this is a bit puzzling. I spent the better half of that last engagement just thinking, why on earth?
That's a good question. Meanwhile, VP itemized in the way we thought they were going to. That pipe is now done for Phobos. Because they also, like, as time goes by, now up against this magical lineup, you've got both the Greaves as well as the Piper Insight on that Darkseer. Vos will soon start having damage items. He's got 2.9k gold after finishing that SMY. Now that was 6 minutes ago he did so. They're having big damage output on him. When complexity, they don't really have a very strong, tanky kind of lineup. Like, I almost would have preferred to see something like an Assault Cuirass instead of like the Shadow Blade, because then at least you negate a large portion of the damage of the Gyrocopter while he doesn't have like that Monkey King bar on him. But they're going to loop around instead. The engagement comes. Hanskin, the first one forward. They go to Thunderbolt, trying to Swindle's finger of death. They kill him off. That's big. The relocate save, ineffective. Hanskin still getting bashed up at FNG, but Z-Freak sends it back just in time. God, he burnt his own BKB. And Limp, he needs some movement speed. He might even have to use this. He's going to cheese it up, pick up the rune. Can he get himself out of this one? They're surrounding him on all sides. Hanskin comes in at 3-man done. Limp will still die to the exorcism, however, but FNG will lose his life as well. Chetty pumps out more damage, but Swindles, he's chasing the bigger one. It's gone. The exorcism has got a couple of seconds left, but Swindles, he'll actually go down, almost died to the Wild Wings, and God will get all this life back as the exorcism now runs out. They haven't done any damage to God. They trap him up with the dragons right now. He will go down, surrounded by the Sprout of Chessie. So 4 heroes will eventually go down to VP as Z-Freak is basically turned into the Queen of Dragons.
I'm pretty sure Z-Freak just dealt 1500 damage through the dragons alone. Probably more. Like standing in 2 fireballs for the full duration inside that Sprout. That was so much damage actually. Again, why those dragons are so strong. But yeah, almost a Ravage coming out from Hanskin with that Impale turning the fight around.
Zeus almost made it out too. Like Limp was on the run, but he stopped to turn around and do a little bit more damage. Relocate, Z-Freak, while he's dewarding or Vorst. Okay, well, this Chen, he has the 4 staff, so he'll transcend the cliff. Limp doesn't have a lot of time left, and FNG comes in now with a cooldown. Hanskin back the front line, the back with Smash out. They actually instantly kill off the Lion, and with the Vorst triggering the BKB, Limp can't do any kind of damage. He throws out the Thunder God's Wrath, and he then denies himself with the Bloodstone. The more of a unique pickup over on the Zeus. Has cheeky deny as well.
Definitely 3 really good pickups after a lost team fight. Something Virtus.Pro desperately needed as well. can't really afford themselves to lose these team fights, but as we saw in the early game, it's what compLexity can do with this lineup, right? They can burst down a target, regardless of whether they have a Black King bar or not. When you have a Lion with Blink Initiate, you're always gonna get that Hex off before any human can react with the Black King bar charge, and that's just the problem that he has, that Vost has right now. He doesn't really have that much damage output as of yet. Probably going for a Butterfly or a Monkey King bar, I'm not entirely sure. So G is the bigger threat, but it takes time for him to be. So they can actually, what compLexity can do is just kill everyone else on the Virtus.Pro lineup and then take him at the very end of it, which they did.
It just is that to like tank through all of the exorcism damage.
Underestimated the damage of the Ghost for a little while there.
Well, when Ursa one-on-ones against the Death Prophet, you're not going to win that one. But that was Swindle's chase. He might have thought there was more support coming from the rest of his team. Or they already dealt with everyone else and then they'll be right behind him, but obviously not the case.
It was very narrow as well. Like, he was almost away from that.
I'm interested to see how Chelsea's going to build this one now. He's got 4.5k gold on the Nature's Prophet. If he wants to, he can buy the straight Aghanim Scepter now. Obviously, he wants to hold on to his buyback, but is Ags, like the split push through Ags, the way you want to go here for compLexity? Or do you try and build Nature's Prophet into a bigger physical damager to make up for your lack of physical damage from the Zeus? Yes, you have the Ursa, but he can potentially be kited. Is that what Chelsea's role now becomes?
Yeah, I think he's definitely going for some kind of damage item. Maybe a Monkey King bar in anticipation of the Butterfly coming out from the Gyrocopter.
Once he sees the quarterstaff on a Vorse, then yeah, maybe that is it. Maybe that's the reason why he's holding his money.
Yeah, I don't really think Black King bar is going to do a whole lot for him, just because Spirit Breaker, Gyrocopter, and Death Prophet aren't really heroes that care too much about it.
Is this the first one VP can stop? Thunder God's Run still has been triggered here by Limp, and VP are on the way. Roshan, there's 18 swipe charges up right now, and now Swindles. He's still got the Enrage. God's going to walk himself in. Swindles instantly an invis. God as well. The sentry's down, so they see him. He was actually covered up by the Glimmer Cave, and they just bail out. But Roshan's already had so much damage done. But look at the TP. Chessie, he actually stopped it. He's starting it. The Black Dragons are pushing into the tier 3 tower. Roshan belongs to Virtus.Pro. The Aegis Immortal into the hands there of the Death Prophet. Not only the greatest one to carry that. In fact, the Hawk waving fair target. Hanskin, the Mech Charge. Can they send it back? The Hand of God barely gets out. Deep Freak, another push shave for him. And maybe now he'll actually sacrifice himself. He will have to. In fact, Swindles comes in a fight. Hanskin gets a double stun with the pop. They burn the Aegis Immortal over on the Death Prophet. Remember, no exit for her. She comes back to the World of the Living, and she needs to just run herself out. Her Vorst locked inside Greenpeace at the moment. Chessie needs a little bit more damage. Have they got the control? Hanskin, yeah, he does. The blink stun. Oh, he caught. Oh, he actually got him too. He picked up Lil. They'll lose the Gyro as well as the Io. God's TP out will be successful, but the bottom lane,
they only committed This is actually a win for compLexity, however weird that may sound. They committed a buyback on the Ursa. They did immense amount of damage on the bottom lane.
They're coming for bottom lane too.
Pro.
They can't let that Rax regenerate. They need to take this out and get the hell out. That's got to be the play now. Even if it just forces the buyback out from a Vorse, it delays. Actually, he's already got the Butterfly, so maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah, and he went down even faster in that fight because he'd already used the flutter effect on the Butterfly, so when Ursa re-engaged after buying back, there was no evasion to speak of.
Now the strike, Hanskin's here. There's your back. There's still no buyback out from a Vorse. FNG very low. There's no Finger of Death and also no mana for a Finger of Death. They haven't taken the tower. Io's back up again, and compLexity realized this is just no-go.
And there's no mana on the Dragons either. He's actually managed to use Fireball all 5 times now.
Arcane Boots are now actually being used just to get Dragon's mana.
I didn't even see that G actually used the Aegis in that fight.
Yeah, oh, he popped straight away. Like, when they came underneath the tower and then that double stun arrived from Hanskin, like, the Aegis Immortal popped. Chessie now in real world of hurt. This is a huge pick-off. 80 seconds with no buyback for the Nature's Prophet. He's short of 1,000 gold.
Oh, he went for Scythe of Vice.
Yeah,
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, with a blink in the side. Just hoping for the disable. It makes his split push a little more weak.
And it makes it even more dangerous to run around on your own on the map as Virtus.Pro. But I don't think that we're gonna see a time in the game where they will actually do that.
FNG? Heal Scepter, there's no support, and they got Finger of Death. They can kill off FNG. Oh, no, really? Yeah, really. He Glimmer Caped up. They didn't have enough damage to finish the job, and now Hans is going to get punished for this. FNG played the bait game, knew he could tank it out, and now they get a kill in return. I'm wondering if that was actually properly calculated by FNG. I'm going to give him just give him the benefit of the doubt and say he did.
It's a very valuable Glimmer Cape against this lineup as well. Especially after they lost the gem fight. Oh, they didn't.
No, it's on Swindles. It's on Swindles.
Lotus Orb now up on the Darkseer. It's gonna benefit them a whole lot as well.
It's gonna make it a lot more difficult if, like, complexity, considering like they just could hex Darkseer around the initial part of the fight. Where are they off to? Oh, they found Limb. You'll step her up. The Centaur actually stuns all of Virtus.Pro. That's that one Centaur. And that will give just enough space for the Zeus to deny himself with the Bloodstone.
So neither team can actually afford to split up and show themselves on the map anymore. There's Relocate and the Spirit and the charge from Spirit Breaker that we've talked about. Everyone knows it. It just you can't show yourself anywhere alone. And then on the side of complexity, there's now a Nature's Prophet with Blink, Hex, Initiate, and a Lion with Blink, Hex, Initiate. And of course, the Nature's Prophet can be anywhere at all times, and Lion can jump out from Fog of War, especially scary at night. So both teams really will have to stick together and just play the 5-on-5 game from here on out.
How do you do that though? Like, you talk about like Nature's Prophet as like this great initiator.
I'll say
but
it,
even
it
Chet's
favors
forced
complexity because they have the summons on their side of things. So
Yes.
the Nature's Prophet and the Chen can send around their little minions to do structural damage and slowly poke away at it. And of course, having Nature's Prophet with the teleport, if he feels, I'd say almost overconfident. Well, the thing is, he hasn't even got inventory space to carry a TP scroll. Because he could technically use his skill of teleportation on the map. Then as soon as he either sees the or anticipates the charge / relocate, he'll just TP home again. Blink out, TP home.
You could do the old Chen tricks.
I think it might even be worth it at this
send
point
it
to
back.
sell the face boots and get the boots of travel.
You just get Chen to send him back, so he TPs out to a lane, and Z-Freak just sends the send back on him at the last moment. Summon up all your trees, then just instantly get pulled back out to safety. One way to do it. It's kind of cheap.
Yeah.
You can do it. I still want to see where Swindles is going with this. Like, he's still got the Shadow Blade. He's almost got to get the Silver's Edge just for pure stat kind of, because he doesn't have an item slot. Like, he could drop the gem and give it back to Z-Freak.
The thing is, he can't even really be safe just because he has a blink dagger and TP up because of charge. So even if he blinks away from the relocate, they'll still have vision of him.
Smoke Treants just walked into the mid lane, revealed themselves as he came right in front of Phobos, and in fact all of VP is now being scouted out. Okay, complexity. Everyone's ready to go, apart from Swindles, who will now be scouted out by the range creep. Came out of his Shadow Blade, the lightning bolt from Limp does again reveal VP's position. Swindles is very far out. They don't find the opening yet. More Treants to get created as the Black Dragons just creep skip it. Oh, there we go. This is the kind of sandbag shenanigans I was thinking complexity would start trying. Let your initiator or your split pusher just go in, do whatever the hell they want, and then Chen just make sure they're out safe.
Yeah, I think both teams are equally scared at this point. They realize that whichever side will lose the fight might lose the game as well. There is buyback on just about everyone though. Well, all the cores at least. Actually, not on Ursa.
Yeah, complexity is missing it out. Ursa's just on timeout for now.
50-second cooldown. That's probably why complexity didn't commit to it. Also, they would have the they would run from low ground up to high ground advantage of Virtus.Pro.
They're probably also waiting for Roshan or Vorst. Okay, that's a BKB charge, but he's down to 5 seconds anyway, so that doesn't really mean as much.
It only matters if complexity actually opts to push in now, which they won't.
What means more is the fact that Lil tried to use relocate. So that's now on cooldown for a minute. Now Roshan could spawn up within the next minute.
This is a pretty farmed Chen as well. He has the Aghanims and the Mechanism, which is normal. Then he picked up a Force Staff, and now he has the Lotus Orb. A lot of saves coming out from this man.
And Z-Freak really, like, we're talking about him at Shanghai as one of the real top players in the support pool. for any of the teams at Shanghai.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of steady growth over the past year. Really developed himself as a player, and now playing at the very highest level. Where you wouldn't really regard him as one of the real elite players back just back at TI actually.
He was always one of the quiet achievers.
Yeah, and nowadays he's just really a force to be reckoned with, and so, especially in this meta where junglers are so potent. Chen and Enigma, two heroes that he's really strong with.
Jesse, what are you spending your money on, man? He's got 3.2k. Obviously, he got the Scythe advice previously.
I mean, saving for buybacks is definitely the play for both sides here.
Yeah.
Another reason why I think Swindle is holding on is he gonna sell that? I really just want him to sell that Shadowblade.
Same. It doesn't make any sense. Like, even just having a basher, like you buy back in Gemini, just having a basher over the Shadowblade makes so much more sense. But he must feel really comfortable with the way he's able to move across the map by having the Shadowblade. Having both like the Blink and the Shadowblade, maybe he feel like he's the he's the vision man for his team.
Because he had the Gem of True Sight on him, it sort of created this complete sense of security everywhere, right? Because their initiate isn't really the same as that of complexities. They don't have that hex lockdown.
Yeah.
In the same sense. So Spirit Breaker is really the only hero that he needs to really worry about. He's gonna go for the Monkey King bar rather than the hex, strictly because of the butterfly on the gyrocopter.
It's happening again. Prophet, there's a big wave pushing in through top as well. A lot of range creeps plus the double catapults. VP must come back and deal with this. Even if they've just got a tether relocate her force back there so he can flat cannon down the wave, even that would be enough. And they actually just, okay, they just TP back on.
Pavo's completing the Monkey King bar. Has the buyback as well.
What's God gonna purchase? He's got 6.3k gold over on this Death Prophet. Oh, hello. FNG, pulled out of position. And this time he will go down to the Finger of Death. This is about a minute before Roshan's gonna spawn up.
He does have buyback though, but this is really the most broke Spirit Breaker I've ever seen.
Oh, that's the reason why he's trying to relocate safe. That's 2 for the price of none.
It's sort of been the story throughout this game as well that Lil and FNG has just been dying together throughout the game, right from the get-go actually, where they would always go in as a pair and die together without really benefiting much from it other than, you know, buying time for the rest of the Virtus.Pro lineup.
You can understand them buying time. Like you were saying yourself at the very start of this game, like Jaro as well as Death Prophet, these guys are absolutely amazing, but they need to have a little bit of space before they can walk over complexity. Swindles has the Demon Edge now.
At this point the game has almost gone too late for the Death Prophet. It's like you don't have that time for the Ghost to do work that you would really want.
Jesse?
To his benefit though, there's no real item progression on Hansken either. Like imagine if he had an Octring core. And 16, he's gonna hit 16 soon though.
Then it'll be a scarier time. He's got so much money. Alright, so you get a BKB as the next primary item.
Black King bar. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you know, it just gives him time to stand and hit the targets he wants to without fearing any lockdown from anything. He doesn't really have to...
There's not much lockdown though, like, it's still, like...
Well, not even the lockdown. It's also just, like, he won't take the additional damage from all the spells that are on the side of Virtus.Pro, so... No Crypt Swarms, no...
He won't take the cooldown damage, but he'll still...
No Vacuum...
He'll still take the slows and the stuns. I suppose if he's the sponge, then you're still happy, because it means that Limp is able to do whatever the hell he wants. And another time when Limp is walking around, because how many Roshans have we had now? Are we actually, did we just pop our 6th Roshan in this game? Actually, it's gonna be our 5th Roshan in this game.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Because this...
If even. Maybe only the 4th.
No, it's the 5th. It's the 5th. This is the 3rd cheese. Yeah, this is definitely the 3rd cheese. Because VP had 1 as well. And Complexity have now had 2 over on Limp. Yeah. But this now means, like, Limp, who you already felt really sad for him. Like, he Bloodstone, before he even got real charges on it, he already had to sacrifice himself twice with the Bloodstone. But now he can sit in the back line, spam out as much as he wants to, let Chessie play this side lane control game of theirs.
I mean, I don't know what G is like.
Oh, FNG.
At this point, I think it's just going for, like, the obvious choice would be a Scythe of Vice, I think. Combos well with, you know, gets a shorter cooldown from Octring Core, there's an intelligence item. has a disable. I wonder if he's thinking we need some extra physical damage output.
FNG is charging in. Swindles as the primary target. Blinks away and FNG hexed up. But where's the follow-up? Okay, there is coming in with a Black Dragon. Huge amount of burn. But you got the ulti out there from Bob. And a Wall taking so much damage from Swindles. Protected by that Lotus Orb. Try and chase him down. Remember, you got Aegis as well as Cheese to go. And Tenzi! He finished his TP in time. Swindles is lining up for the kill over on Lil. He can't do it though. The Ghost Scepter denies him. You've still got Relocate out if they want to do it. Limp down low. Hanskin went for the double stun. Couldn't finish the job, but he's still able to finger of death down. Horse has got. Now it's his time to be protected by the Lotus Bolt. Hanskin, he wants to do something, but he can't find it. Phobos jumps up. Can he actually kill the line? Juke in the tree line as far as you can. Hanskin still got stunned. Phobos won't be able to chase him down. And now the Black Dragons are moving over to Phobos. He's committing so hard with this one. The Hex, is there another stun? I don't even care about the rest of the fight right now. You actually send him back for Z-Freak. They keep the chase going, and Phobos is on the wrong side of the river.
Gyrocopter does have buyback, and he's probably going to commit it now. There's a refresher up on the.
She has to use it straight away.
Yeah.
Like with that exorcism, they don't defend this. Triggers him very, very early on, but Swindles, he just mans up. He doesn't have the Aegis of the Immortals, so this may not be the greatest time for him to do it. And in fact, they're already sending him back out.
Great decision and great play from Virtus.Pro. Very patient, not committing the buyback from Havos, because it's so important at this stage of the game to have that buyback ready and up. So the fact that he doesn't use it and just confident that his team can defend without him, super important.
They found Phobos. Complexity. Nice again. Swindles right on top of God. That exorcism was about to wear off in 2 seconds, 1 second. And now come back and giving him that life back. But Swindles down for so long. Almost 2 minutes on the sideline. Hanskin's trying to ensure here with Chesty. They're able to get a couple of kills and stuff. VP doing much because Hanskin, man, he's so good. Ravage is an understatement for how many impales he's double or triple stunned on. Limp wants to go for more. They can force-stamp him forward. Yep. But
Now they have to back. Havos is now alive again, and they don't have their Ursa. Actually, definitely needs to back off. Actually,
oh no, they saw Phobos. Can they catch him though? Is the question. Z-Freak. Lotus Orb is there. Z-Freak would just run himself out. Hanskin again with these stuns to blink to TP out. Z-Freak again also with his force staff. They got the Eul Scepters available, so Z-Freak will end up going down here. Or should. He's got his Lotus Orb back off cooldown now, so he can use that and break free of the silence. The Darkseer Iron Shell is kind of doing most of the work. He actually Hands of Gods at this point. I'm not 100% certain exactly what that was for. Like, if it was the old Aghanims, I can understand it, but now he just leaves the gem behind.
Desperation, and he'll be dead half the cooldown anyways. By the time that he's back in action, it's fine, it'll be up again. He actually needs to go get creeps as well. Yeah, they took it down. Oh no, there they are. Okay, never mind. He actually has full army. It'd be pretty good for Virtus.Pro if they could pick up these straggling dragons.
It's difficult though. They don't really have the damage to do it without committing, well,
it's more like
exorcism.
They don't really have the lockdown to do it, so they would have to have the gyrocopter run by the side and run all the way up, trying to catch them out. You can see how much these black dragons actually do in pushing out the waves. It's not just Nature's Wrath anymore. It's really that these two ancient black dragons is constantly pushing in a wave.
You almost like wish Havos had that Daedalus done, but he bought BTs instead. They're more worried about what's happening with this split push. It also means that Lil can save his relocate for, well, saving. Instead of actually having to do it to bring in more help.
If Havos gets a Satanic and is able to actually regain some of that HP that he will lose early on in the team fight through the damage from Zeus and Lion, for instance, if he can somehow sustain himself throughout the team fight, I think VP will ultimately win. Like if complexity is capable of bursting him down and he has life leech, then Virtus.Pro is in a really, really good position.
Okay, so
it's a tight game.
It really is. So the Silver Edge is done for us. So remember, at this point, it's only for stats. It's not for anything else. With the Monkey King bar, he's got a small bash potential. Roshan's still got another 2 minutes till he's maybe up. The Assault Cuirass from Nature's Prophet is really going to help negate a large amount of that physical damage coming out from Virtus.Pro. Obviously not all of it.
I can't help but still wonder, what if this was a basher instead of a Silver Edge?
It would feel like there'll be a lot more quick and efficient pickups from complexity if it was the case.
And added multiple lockdown effects.
And they're smoking up, looking for the opening. And, well, VP won't find it. Swindles inside that Silver Edge. He's running forward. Who does he want to go for? Trying to go for number 1. There's number 2 as well. FNG low on life. Goes for Nether Strike. Pushing Hanska back out. FNG will end up going down. The Darcy Wall's in good position, but Chelsea, he's just standing his ground. Physically damaged out of Bolton. Lives with his Blink Dagger. He's there in time. Chelsea may die, but really, God, he's taking so much burst damage. Complexity are dishing it out. Lil will go down too. The Gems come back to where Complexity. And, well, VP, a quick pause after the buyback. Whoops, it's Complexity. A couple of communication issues. But you got VP, like, what is your defense now? You got buyback on the Darkseer, but that is all. You already expended it for both the Gyrocopter and the Death Prophet to defend this push that's coming out from Complexity.
It will be a 5-on-3. I think this might very well be where Complexity ends things, unless, of course, VP manages to pick off either Swindles or Chessie on those calls.
That's so difficult to do. Like, Lotus Orb's already protecting Swindles.
Exactly. It's very difficult to do at this stage in time, and they just have so much protection in the rest of the Complexity lineup. Swindles is low, however.
Let Chessie just do the work.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Swindles doesn't need to be on the front lines. If VP want to initiate, sure. Z-Freak just, like,
His
already
enrage,
starts to send back.
he does have enrage though, so...
Z-Freak, get him out of there. Z-Freak, you have to get him out there. 4-star foul switch, so low, the Yule Scepter. How does he get out of this one with a Silver Edge? The Crypt Swarm's too far away. God really wants the kill, and he can't keep chasing it. They're too far out. The Melioraks will go down thanks to Black Dragons. And the top tier 3 tower is also being chipped away pretty heavily.
I mean, these dragons are just game winners at this point. Almost more important than some of the heroes has been.
Kind of a sad thing to say. Pro boss. The Observer Wall is still up, so they see Chessie.
Oh.
The Lotus Orb is there. He was trying to get Chessie to Hex on him. Now it's actually Hanskin. They wait for Lotus Orb again. Hanskin trying to do this. Another double stun. God as well as Pro Boss. The BKB will trigger off Pro Boss, and God, he wants to kill. Chessie has to cover of his own BKB. Physically damage down that Darkseer. The relocate's coming as well to bring in a boss, but again, Hanskin. Another stun. Gone down for 2 minutes. You buy back over on the Darkseer, but Chessie, he can just disengage. Blinks away from the cooldown. Hanskin with the Sprout. He's bought enough space and limp. We actually forgot about him. He's still part of this fight as well. A Vorst is stranded with no BKB. The body block keeping out from Limp. Hanskin, he will go down. A Vorst damage output is just not enough. He'll get the support, but even that support will buy back into this game. Complexity with everyone alive, and VP have given a 2-minute window now for Complexity to ravage their base.
Yeah, that really should be game. Nature's Prophet survives. He didn't have the buyback, but he survives, and now there's 2 minutes on both Death Prophet and Gyrocopter, who both committed their buyback in the previous fight. Really a lot of back and forth, but it just seems like Complexity is faster to assemble their heroes and then utilize these lockdowns to sort of keep all this damage output from Virtus.Pro at bay. And they're just gonna go straight for the throne, knowing that there's no way the Coast can come back alive.
It might be a little greedy to do it though.
Change targets again.
Yeah, after that 3-man back wall, they're not feeling as confident. They need the Lion, like they need Hanskin to get someone out of position.
I mean, it's a full minute. I think they could have committed to that.
Maybe. But why take the risk, huh? It's the perils of single elimination.
I mean, it's almost more risky allowing VP to potentially come back from Mega Creep rather than going for the throne directly.
Well, catching on one hero, that might do it. Phobos, well, there's a lot of hexes being thrown out. Lil keeping Phobos alive. FNG's the only one out of position now.
Every second right now counts. It's still so much.
Chessie's trying it. FNG. Well, there's the BKB out from Chessie. Jumped on FNG, realizing his reposition was already used. Phobos will drop as well. Complexity finally find the moment to get it out. A GG call. It's taken us a while to get through this game. 62 minutes inside the game as well as patient outside of it. But Complexity will 2-0 out Virtus.Pro here in our first quarterfinal.
Yeah, and the first American versus Russia matchup of the day. We have Empire and EG coming up as the last game of the day.
We do.
So congrats to Complexity. I'm pretty sure it's the expected result after their performance in Shanghai, though.
Yeah,
And there's a stand-in on Virtus.Pro in the form of Vost instead of Silent.
There was a lot of things which you could definitely say, like, it wasn't going in well for VP. The odds were against them. Complexity, they're looking like a strong team. They're looking really stable in their way they coordinate. There's just a lot of things working really, really nice for their team at the moment.
Again, though, as ever, G just performing.
Yeah. He really does, but unfortunately, the rest of the team has to step up in order for them to win. But big congratulations, compLexity taking out the series 2-0. And of course, it is time to get the thoughts from our panel.
If you look at the score, it definitely does not reflect the true nature of this game. A 2-0 going the way of compLexity, but both games actually going right down to the wire, particularly that last game where Virtus.Pro just fought to the bitter end.
I sort of think, yeah, but at the same time, it almost felt like compLexity's win was going to be an inevitability. They were playing really well around the DP ulti. They never allowed VP to get any momentum in that game. It just kind of felt like VP was just bend, not breaking, and then eventually